What's up, guys? In this video I'm going to show you how to flush mount your roof rack on a 3rd gen 4Runner. You can see how mine now has these factory roof bars and I can move it all over the place. I've slowly tightened it more and more, and it still will flex. I just had a mattress up here and it was flopping all over the place. But also another reason that I'm flush mounting it is because it is going to mount it maybe like 1.5 inches lower than it is now, because this right now getting into my garage is really close to the top, and I want to lift it just a little bit more, and then also probably a little bit of help with gas mileage. With that not being so high, it'll be a little bit lower and kind of flow better with the roof, and maybe create a little bit less drag. So it should also be stronger. So how I'm going to do that is I got these #1 conduit hangers from Home Depot, and then they came with these bolts and nuts here. And what we're going to do is bolt these into the factory roof rails, and then the roof rack will go in this here, which my roof rack has 1-inch tubing here, so that's why I have the #1 hangers, because these are #1. They're 1 inch, so they'll fit. And then these are the bolts, M6 1 by 16 millimeters. I just got some flange bolts with the serrated locking heads on them, and actually they ran out, so I had to buy some 20 millimeter ones too, but I think those will fit just fine. But these are what you'll need to screw into the factory threads in here to mount it to the factory roof rails. So that's what we're going to be using for that. And then you can see up here they have these support bars, and that will space away from the threads a little bit. So I'm assuming on these bars right here we're going to need a little bit of a spacer, so I'll just make a little ABS plastic spacer, or you can stack some washers that'll go here, and then we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mounting spots of these. So I bought 2 packs of the conduit hangers, which gives me 10 of them. So what I'm going to go ahead and start with doing is dismounting the factory roof rack, and then we can take off all of these to screw in the conduit hangers. So I got all the hardware off, and what I'm doing here is I marked where each of the mounts is going to go, so that it doesn't run into any of the bars or these plates here, because it has to clamp all the way around the metal. So I scooted it forward so that I can still open my sunroof, and then also open the back without it hitting back there. So now I'm going to take the roof rack off and then go ahead and adjust all of everything up there, and then I'll show you how the little conduit hangers mount. So here's a quick clip showing how you take off the OEM roof bars. You have to unscrew these here, and then you have to take off this Torx bit that has this cap on right here, and then you got to hammer this cap out. It's stuck in there pretty good, so I just put the screwdriver in there and then banged on it with my hand, and it popped out. And then now that this is loose, you can just slide it off of these rails, and then you'll reinstall the cap with the Torx screw, and make sure that you seal these threads when you put it back in, so you don't have any leaks. I'm just using some Permatex thread locker and sealer there, and get that back on there, and then I will start mounting the conduit hangers. It's starting to storm outside, but it's still working. You can see I've got some of them mounted up here already. You can see that's what they look like. I've got some washers under there, holding the front and rear ones up. And as you can see, I've bent them out so that you can get a socket in there to tighten them down. Dang, this water's blowing like all the way in here. Yeah, I've got them all bent out like this, and then I'm just taking these, and now I'm just going to go tighten them all down in place. You can see I've got the support bars moved, so I'll have to wash this later, but it just has little sliders under there. This one I accidentally moved. But yeah, it's just got little sliders that it threads into, and these are super sturdy, so I'm thinking this is going to look pretty good here whenever it's all mounted up. So I'm going to get these all bolted in, and then we'll be able to throw the rack up there. So you can see I have it sitting up there, and all of the little brackets are screwed in. It was a little bit of a trial and error process. I have spacers underneath all of them made out of little pieces of ABS plastic. I cut into squares and put holes in, basically like a washer. In the front and the back one have a little bit taller spacer than the middle ones, because this is, I think, slightly curved, but also I want the front to be as high as possible, so the sunroof can barely open. I mean, I don't really think I'll be cracking it like that much, but I have it to where I think it'll barely work. And then I added a piece of hose right there I zip tied for padding. So if I ever do accidentally open this, it won't accidentally hit or anything. But this is looking like it's going to be a lot stronger. It looks a lot more sleek looking, and it looks less cheap and nicer. And I'm going to have a, what do you call it? An awning right here mounted. I don't know how much that weighs, but I guess maybe like 40 pounds, maybe not that much, but I think this is going to be way more sturdy. The thing's not going to wobble around if I have something attached to it, but there's still room to, get hooks under there and attach anything. So I'm going to go ahead and bolt it up. You just slide the bolts through and they lock in these squares, and then you just put a nut to the other side and it'll be good to go. So here it is, all mounted. It is quite a bit lower. I just checked, the sunroof can still open, the tailgate can open without the little spoiler rubbing. It is quite a bit lower, and it is way more sturdy. Like, I can't get any flex out of this thing whatsoever. The only flex I can get out of it is if I can literally see the metal of the roof. I mean, you just heard that. That was this. I super glued this earlier. But yeah, it is super strong. I can get a little bit of flex here, but you can see it's like the metal of the roof bending. So it is way more sturdy. It could definitely hold a lot more weight now. And it was pretty easy. The spacing was the hardest thing, but a little bit, maybe like a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch more spacing on the front and back worked perfectly. I just cranked these down with an electric ratchet, and it is very sturdy. It looks pretty good too. Like, these things I painted them black, so they match my roof rack now, so it looks like it was meant to be like that. So that is pretty much it for this video. Very minor improvement, but it's definitely worth it. I mean, you can see the wind deflector now is way lower, so maybe you get a little bit of improvement on the MPG and just the wind blowing the thing around, but that'll be a lot sturdier. I've got a road trip coming up, and I will have a roof box and a bunch of stuff tied down up here while doing some serious off-roading. So I didn't want that swinging all over the place and putting a bunch of stress on these OEM roof bars, because you can stand on them and they bend all over the place. They're really flimsy. So yeah, I think their weight limit is 300 pounds, but I wouldn't dare put that much up there, because they were flexing all over the place with maybe a less than 100-pound mattress I had up here the other day. So That's pretty much it for this video. Please leave a like and subscribe and follow me on Instagram at Nickjoenap, and I'll see you in the next video.